In 1492, when a Florence merchant named Lorenzo de' Medici died, his family owned the most powerful bank in Europe. They controlled the wealth of the Catholic Church. They had funded the entire Renaissance. They had bought the papacy. They had quietly become the richest dynasty in human history. 2 years later, it was all gone. This is the story of how one Florence family invented modern banking and then lost everything they had built in a single generation. The year is 1397. A 37-year-old Florence merchant named Giovanni di Bicci de' Medici opens a tiny currency exchange office near the Mercato Vecchio. Banks already exist. Lending already exists. What does not exist is modern banking. Banking that can be scaled, audited, and run across continents by people who never meet. Giovanni's accountants will solve all three problems. First, double-entry bookkeeping. Every transaction recorded twice, once as a credit, once as a debit. For the first time in human history, a banker can look at his books in the morning and instantly know where every coin in his bank has gone the night before. Second, bills of exchange. The church has banned charging interest. Giovanni's accountants invent an elegant workaround. A bill that converts one currency into another across a distance. The exchange rate hides the interest charge inside the foreign exchange spread. Profitable, untraceable, religion-proof. By the time Giovanni dies in 1429, the Medici Bank has 6 branches across Europe and a balance sheet larger than any private institution on earth. Giovanni's son Cosimo takes the bank and does something no banker has done before. He turns it into a network. Each branch is, on paper, a separate company. Florence does not own Rome. Rome does not own Bruges. The branch managers are not employees. They are partners, holding a stake in their own branch's profits. The genius of the design is hidden. Limited liability. 300 years before limited liability companies exist. If the London branch makes a catastrophic loan, only the London partners lose. The Florence Bank survives. The Geneva Bank survives. The system survives. The Medici are not one bank. They are 7 banks pretending to be one. Each one a sovereign experiment. Each one bound to the others only by the family name and the central ledger. 3 centuries before the Dutch East India Company, the Medici have invented the multinational corporation. By 1450, the Medici Bank has acquired a customer no other bank can touch: the Catholic Church. When a bishop in Iberia owes Rome a tithe, the Medici collect it. When a cardinal in Hungary needs cash for his lifestyle, the Medici loan it. When the Pope launches a crusade, the Medici finance the army. At peak, the Medici Bank holds 65% of all papal revenue passing through Rome. The Church does not bank with the Medici. The Medici are the Church's bank. This is unprecedented power. Cosimo de' Medici, a merchant's son with no noble title, has quietly become the second most powerful man in Christendom. When he dies in 1464, the people of Florence carve a phrase onto his tomb that no merchant has ever earned: Pater Patriae, Father of the country. What does the most powerful banking family in Europe do with all this money? They build the Renaissance. Brunelleschi, who designs the dome of Florence Cathedral, funded by the Medici. Donatello, who sculpts the first freestanding bronze nude since antiquity, funded by the Medici. Botticelli, who paints the birth of Venus, funded by the Medici. Michelangelo, who carves the David at 26 years old, discovered by Lorenzo de' Medici, raised in the Medici household, paid in Medici gold. This is not generosity, this is strategy. The Medici understand something later dynasties will spend centuries trying to imitate. Art is political capital. Patronage buys legitimacy. Beauty buys loyalty. A painting on a church ceiling is a billboard for the family that paid for it. And that billboard will outlive everyone in this room by 500 years. The Medici did not just invent modern banking. They invented soft power. Cosimo's grandson Lorenzo, Lorenzo the Magnificent, inherits the bank in 1469. Lorenzo is the most cultured Medici. He writes poetry in 3 languages. He hosts the smartest minds in Europe at his dinner table. He is everything a Renaissance prince should be. What he is not is a banker. He delegates the branches. The branch managers grow bolder. The London branch makes a series of enormous loans to Edward IV of England to fund his civil war. The Bruges branch lends a fortune to Charles the Bold of Burgundy to fund his. Both borrowers default. The Medici are learning, the hard way, the oldest lesson in lending. When you lend to a king, you are lending to a man who can decide not to pay you back, and there is no court on earth that can make him. By the 1480s, the Medici Bank is hollow. Its branches are unprofitable. Its capital has been eaten by sovereign defaults. It survives on its name. Its reputation alone holds it upright. 1492. Lorenzo dies. His son Piero inherits. A man history will nickname the Unfortunate. 1404. King Charles VIII of France marches 40,000 soldiers down into Italy. Piero, in a panic, rides out to meet him personally and surrenders Florence's most valuable border fortresses without a single shot. The Florentine people, watching their leader give away their defenses, revolt. The Medici palaces are sacked. The family is exiled. And the bank, its branches, its ledgers, its contracts, is seized by the new republic, liquidated and erased. The most powerful banking institution in human history, 97 years after its founding, ceases to exist. Within a generation of standing at the absolute peak of European wealth, the Medici are stateless, scattered, and out of the banking business forever. In its 97 years, the Medici Bank had invented almost every technique that runs the global financial system today. Double-entry bookkeeping, still the foundation of every audit in every country in the world. The multinational corporation, 3 centuries before anyone else. Aligned incentive partnerships, the structure investment banks still use. Sovereign default risk. We have the data because the Medici were the first to be destroyed by it. Patronage economics. The modern luxury industry runs the Medici playbook to this day. They were not, in the end, destroyed by the market. They were destroyed by politics, by lending to powerful borrowers who could not be made to pay in a country that could not protect them from invasion. Every major bank that has failed since has failed for variations of the same reasons. Barings, Lehman, Silicon Valley Bank. 5 centuries of bank failures, and the script does not change. Too many loans to powerful borrowers who cannot be forced to pay. Branch managers operating outside their competence. A reputation that survives long after the capital is gone. The Medici were not the last to make these mistakes. They were the first.